This April, we're continuing our yearly theme from the ground up, building power with land in collaboration with the Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative and the Kensington Corridor Trust. In this series, we're exploring how communities are reclaiming land and building grassroots governance as tools for collective liberation. DSNI is hosting their last two-part movie screening and discussion of Gaining Ground, Building Community on Dudley Street. This documentary explores DSNI's innovative grassroots organizing and how a generation of young leaders work together to prevent foreclosures and create youth jobs in the neighborhood. With that, I'm going to pass it to DSNI to introduce yourselves, and then, yeah.
Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Latoya Johnson, and I'm a board member on the DSNI. What else would you like to- Okay.
Hey everyone, how y'all doing? My name is Tu. I'm a community organizer at Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative. And for the folks in person, I just have a sign up list if you can put your name down so we can stay in contact. But there's also a bunch of flyers from all these events. So please indulge me and take a look at what's happening in the city as well. Um, but afterwards, we'll have a discussion and Latoya will just check in with y'all after the movie.
And we are going to get the movie started.
And while they're getting started here, my name is Gio. I'm here with you, and we're maintaining the in-person experience, which is helping you sign in. The table resources, as you can see, I've left one door open and the others have been closed for visual and sound purposes. And
at night. Let's make sure we celebrate. Appreciate it. Watch out now.
Love you, brother.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, Dan.
We'll do it next time.
Love you so much.
We'll
Absolutely.
do it right next
We'll
time.
keep grinding.
We're gonna keep it doing.
Absolutely.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it go.
Absolutely.
All right.
To be honest, this is the most aggressive project I've been on for the workforce. I've never been on a project that the numbers are so high, and to meet that 51, 51, 15, it's tough, you know.
When the subcontractors aren't hitting the numbers, we have to force it upon them. So knowing that the laborers union has enough residents, has enough minority participation within their union, so now you have the facts. Then you can then force that upon and say, no, we know these applicants and these candidates are out there, put them on.
There's only two female iron workers here. We live around it. So we're fortunate. And then on top of it being in our neighborhood, being a part of our community and something that we grew up in, I mean, we really got lucky.
Do you have children?
Yeah, I have kids, yep.
So your kids are going to be part?
They will be coming here.
There were a lot of people when that workforce development effort began who said 51% local, 51% minority, 15% women. It'll never happen. Good luck. You know, you guys, Salvation Army, God bless you. You like to help people, you know, but that's a system you're not going to change. But we've been effective because Salvation Army's been at the table from early on. Suffolk Construction's been at the table from early on. DSNI has been at the table from early on. And at this point, the projections look good that we will make and exceed every one of those goals.
say get that guy a hard hat, but I know how thick his head is. Got a hard head to start with anyway, so I don't need a hard hat.
You're dressed for the weather.
Yeah. Thank you.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Well, let's get inside, huh? Before we get.
Yeah.
Two main entries to the facility. This will be the classroom for the teaching kitchen. So everybody kind of comes into this central foyer area. Here's your cafe. So here's the 2-court gym.
I'm really thinking back to being a kid and playing our first community center, and I'm blown away. You know? Like I'm blown away.
The mall that you see right here.
Going into our third generation here at DSNI, I can only imagine when we pass the torch to them, how much better they'll do. At 14 and 15, what we were dealing with in the neighborhood was clearing vacant lots. 15 years ago, it would have been all adults planning it. Now it's almost all youth planning it.
Communityscapes is a program here at Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative that really focuses on the upkeep of the open spaces that the land trust owns. Over the past 5 years, I've run this program. This year, I've handed over that power to this team of youth.
So on Monday, which is the first day, we'll have an hour of handout.
Week 3, the task is work on the church lot, the St. Patrick's Church on Dudley Street.
3 supervisors structured because of the group size. It's like 4 people.
It's your community, so why not help it out? Because your community is who you are as well, because it's the way you treat it. So if your community is dirty, it's because you helped dirty your community.
All right, it looks like we got summer. This is great, guys. To start.
Jason told us we had $30,000 amongst everybody. So what us 9 youths had to decide was if we were going to split it evenly amongst everybody, or the junior supervisors get $2 more.
So how much are we getting paid and how much are they getting paid?
They have to get 8 an hour.
We're coming up with how much we get paid.
How much everybody gets paid?
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm saying at least 10.
11.
That's so much fun. Is that? Well, we gotta cut it down. So, yeah.
So we decided to give other members a chance for them to, start working. We took all of that extra $2 and we hired, I think, 10 more people.
It was probably the hardest decision we made. Because half the people's like, no, I want to get paid the $9 an hour. Let's have less youth. And some people's like, no, it's okay. Let's get paid the $8 an hour and give other youth the experience of what it is to have a fresh job.
Do they want that extra dollar, or do they want more of their friends to be employed and to be involved in something positive? And for them, it's like they rather help out their friends, which are in turn their community. And that just shows how much they've matured over time.
Today is really a good day for you guys to all come back together and really to have a dialogue with the governing board that oversees the land trust. I've worked with all of you guys individually to continue to, be an open door for you guys. I know that sometimes I don't, answer my phone. I'm trying to work on that.
I'm president of the Land Trust, and hopefully we can have dialogue about some of the things that you need and some of the efforts that we can make in your behalf.
one night my alarm went off. The response time with the cops, that it took them like 25, 30 minutes just to show up. I said to my kids, if we weren't being killed, they would have killed us and gone.
That's another part of the problem that we need to solve collectively. And so the more people bring those kinds of circumstances to us, the more we can work on those together.
Some of the Brookford, Dacia Street, Rand Street families have gotten together and done a couple of meetings, meet and greet, and we looked into a neighborhood watch. We're very motivated and committed to keeping the streets safe for our kids to play in. So we've had 2 meetings, 3 meetings. You know, we're just motivated to start something.
I've been here for 17 years. I wanted stability. I wanted connection. I wanted a sense of belonging. When I bought the house, I bought into a community. And I could either sit back and complain or try to make a difference. Buying this house turned me into an activist. This was a heavy drug area, and it's not like that anymore. If you want change, you have to work for that change.
It's really, really nice to have the opportunity to do whatever you want. So we have things hanging on ceilings, we have pictures on the wall, we picked our own paint color. And so to have that freedom was amazing.
Never send a man to buy pink.
Never. With this particular house, we own the structure, but we do not own the land. It's under a land trust. And so we still have a landlord. There's still conditions on owning this house.
So the original deal was after everybody moved in, they were gonna fence in all the yards. And first they told us they couldn't do it last year because the ground would be frozen. And then they told us that the contractor wouldn't be able to do it until next year. So we all started complaining, and finally he got another contractor, but they still haven't put the gates in, and they haven't said when they're going to put the gates in. They actually said they have no money to do the gates right now.
If they're not going to do it, don't say they're going to do it. And if they're going to do it, then do it in a reasonable time frame. You're a lot less angry and bitter if you know what's going on.
Sometimes we overpromise. There's a lot that residents want to do, have asked us to help them with. And so communicating the progress, communicating some of the setbacks has been a real challenge for us.
We created a neighborhood watch group and then partnered with the Boston police in this area.
The police are good.
They won't respond if they don't have calls. So call. And so we started calling. So they started responding. So it was good.
Now our neighborhood watches have turned into more of a, we do potlucks and we cook on the grill and everybody brings
Neighborhood fellowship.
Yeah, neighborhood fellowship.
We established a community that we feel comfortable with. And hopefully in the years, it will continue to expand itself.
Are you here for the job fair? Yeah. Are you here for the job fair? Yeah. Okay. Pick a number, when they call your number, you can get an application.
32, 32, 32.
I've recently become unemployed. I'm here to see if I can get one of the part-time positions in the evening, preferably customer service, I think.
71, 72, 73, 74, and 75.
Come on down. How many positions are you looking for? Two.
The Salvation Army, they've only had 3 management hires to date, and all those were done internally without consulting or posting them to the neighborhood. That lack of transparency is causing us concern.
I'm in Fort Connors.
It also turns out that the facilities management position at the Kroc Center, he's actually the son of the state territorial commander, Major Bodie of the Salvation Army. So the whole nepotism concept going on there is really not sitting well with folks.
It just so happened the best candidate in this particular case was related to a particular Army person. We had applicants coming in from New Hampshire, from California. We had only 3 or 4 from the community at that particular time, because I handled it myself, knowing how sensitive certain things are.
During the early conversations with the Salvation Army, one of the more important conversations was around our values and their values. The community wanted to see a center where it would feel like this place belongs to us, this place is us. We've been very clear that affordability and accessibility to the center would be really critical. Salvation Army, very early on, had very affordable projections of membership. At some point, that changed.
These are the general rates for the center. And we have one parent with up to 3 children is $70 a month, and then 2 parents with up to 3 children is $85 a month.
They're doing a monthly fee, and, you know, for a family, that just seemed very high.
Center.
If you're gonna charge $70 a month for a family in this area, that's not gonna work for a lot of families. I mean, people are out of work, and even when they have work, they don't have high-paying jobs. I mean, this is the inner city.
It's a $4 million budget right off the bat. It already has $1.5 million that has to be raised yearly. Some of that through memberships, and the rest of it is with our ongoing donors just to maintain it. What capacity?
Unfortunately, from the community, what we're hearing is that it's not affordable. And it's not coming back to them, it's coming back to us at DSNI and those of us that represent the residents in the community. It's someone stopping me walking down the street. It's a phone call, it's an email, it's a Facebook, it's a response on Twitter.
Yeah, I do agree. I do think if it is for the community that the prices should be reasonable, and looking over them, I don't really see them being that reasonable.
I know a lot of kids who wants to go there, but it's just like they can't afford the money to get in.
We were all excited about it. You know, I would love to come here. And then when we went there and we're looking around and they gave us a tour and then oh, and this is how much it costs. Like, oh my God, you know, like wow.
Carlos Enriquez and I met with Major Kuntz to kind of go over some unanswered questions regarding membership, full-time hiring, the structure of the center once it's open, regarding if we'll have participation in some of the hiring, things like that.
So we had an idea that we weren't going to be the heavies. We were going to kind of come in, one of us would bring up the tough points and one of us would bring up the nice points, kind of the good cop, bad cop routine.
Those roles actually ended up changing, which is really funny. I was supposed to be the good cop, and that didn't actually turn out so well.
Major Kuntz asked, is DSNI trying to control this building? And we were taken aback by it, going, no, we're not trying to control this building. Like, that's not what DSNI does. We're used to having input into the programming that comes into our neighborhood. So for the Army, they're going, why are they asking for input? Why aren't they just happy that this is here? And for us, we're going, don't they know who we are? Why aren't they asking for our input? Why are we having to insert ourselves into it?
The project's so big, and with attorneys and zoning permits, and we're still going through zoning permits. So I'll never do this again, I don't think. It's not like you're trained to do this.
So I put myself in his shoes and thought about the tremendous pressure he must be under, especially doing something for the first time, and thought about what he might need for support, and that he might not have it. And that was my first offer, how I brought the meeting back together. I said, I can only imagine what it's like to be under this kind of pressure. And I want you to know that whatever you need that we can provide, please share it with us and we will.
The Salvation Army, as it should make sure that it's got its eyes on the entire project. From a DSNI standpoint, what we're trying to do is always make sure that their attention and their focus is back on what the community thinks is important. We're having difficult conversations. And so that's going to take our best at being able to disagree and being able to compromise.
Number of precincts 19, number of precincts reporting 15, total number of votes 1,615. Carlos Enriquez 572, Barry Lawton 560, Althea Garrison 308, Roy Owens 169.
We're going to start celebrating anyways, even though the word's not official.
The success of this campaign, it comes from the work that we already did. All those days where we're lit dropping and the nights we've been here and it's been a concession speech, those were all paying it forward so that we could have this night. As I was standing at the polls today, I felt a couple of rocks in my shoe and I realized that in the bottom of my shoe, there is a hole. That is my sock right there. All right? We don't walk in the neighborhood every single day and burn a hole in the shoe. I did not walk alone. I walked with all of you. So thank you very much for sharing this with me. This is a good night. We did it. At long last, we did it. The work has just begun. Right. Because even if the electorate doesn't hold him accountable, he knows that I'll hold him accountable. So we've got work to do. I have to ban him from the office before we even get in there.
I wasn't sure if I was going to attend my graduation because my mother died. I was going through the motions of that and grieving it. But at the end of the day, I decided to go because I felt like I needed to show that you have to keep going. Beneficent and merciful Spirit, we ask that you bless us with understanding to take small steps in our work that lead to big change in the world. Let us remember our reasons for taking this path and help us keep our dreams of improving the welfare of others alive.
Thank you. Alicia, please be seated.
Candidates for the degree Master of Social Work. Alicia Rahima Moultrie.
As a young person, I definitely did not think I was going to get a master's. I think what changed that was doing the work I was doing at DSNI and wanting to go deeper. My mother would be proud that I went, you know.
Ever since construction started, it's been the buzz of the area. So far, it's fantastic. It's great.
And do all these wonderful things to educate these children.
I am humbled in this neighborhood and honored to serve in this community. The Salvation Army has worked so hard along your side, and we wanted to say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your community. Thank you for trusting us.
I have mixed emotions about the opening. We've heard comments from residents that have said, DSNI sold out the community to the Salvation Army. DSNI's name is on the line as well because we're the stakeholder for the community part of it.
This must be open to all. It's about opportunity for these kids. And look at this building. It can't be outside saying, why can't I come in?
There's times where if we don't feel like we're getting heard, we might pick up the phone and call the mayor and say, Mayor, this is what our concerns are. We want you to voice them as well because they're the concerns of your residents as well.
Salvation Army knows where I'm at. They definitely know where I'm at in this one. Not too happy with me, but you know, I don't care. It's about the kids.
We don't ever enter a community lightly. We are aware that there are folks who are speaking about the membership rates and some who might think that they're on the high side, but we continue to walk out that conversation with DSNI and with the broader community.
Ready? One, set, go.
The partnership with the Salvation Army has been full of back and forth disagreements and agreements. Partnerships present tremendous opportunities for us to do more, but partnerships also present tremendous challenges and obstacles. It's not easy.
I can't explain how much it means to me to be able to grow up in our neighborhood, grow up in DSNI, and be in the state house talking to youth from my neighborhood and figuring out how we're gonna get $12 million so we can continue summer jobs. What is possible? I really do expect somebody from this group to be moving into one of these offices when I'm moving out of one of these offices. Things that I've learned through serving this community through DSNI since the age of 14 is what I take to work with me every day. It's what I'm leaving the board. The young man who I worked with is actually running for the board. And I called him on the phone. I said, I didn't tell him I wasn't running for the seat. And I said, you're running against me for a board seat. And he was like, yeah, to be a leader, you got to do what you got to do. And I said, and he didn't miss a beat. And I said, you know, I'm pretty popular in this neighborhood. He says, so am I. I'll take my shot at you. So it just made me laugh. I smiled. And I really asked him, I said, what made you want to run? And without missing a beat, he said, you.
So vote for me to be part of the board.
Because I'm running because of you. I'm running because of the example that you set. There are a lot of stories like that. Really, really a lot of stories. DSNI, the Dudley neighborhood in general, has given many of us a chance to make something happen in the world that is bigger than ourselves and that matters.
I remember in the 90s walking around with my mom, Dudley Street being a mess. And so to see it now, like, okay, yeah, it's like 20, 25 years later, but all those goals like happened. So it's like, okay, if I start today, in like 10 years, maybe things can be like the way I want them to be.
Hi, friends online. We are back. And we are gonna hand it over to Yacht.
Oh, let's get you audioed up.
If you can talk into this. So that was a powerful documentary, I feel, about activism, education, and things like that. What would be like your takeaway, or what would be like something you would want to say about this documentary?
Mhm.
Can you just speak into the? Yeah.
I was really struck with the models of leadership that are shown in this movie and how relational and engaged the leadership was instead of being, bullying and performative and sort of top down. And it seems like that's a really important model of the program. And you could see the effects of it, from one generation to the next.
Yeah. And this is Gio from Ujima. Something that stood out to me was same thing that stood out to me when I first saw this at Bunker Hill 10 years ago or so. Some of my peers were employed by DSNI's youth program when they were 14 through 16. And seeing them in that age range with the style, the Hollister shirt, the other people with the snapbacks on from when they first rolled them out here in Boston. It definitely brought back some memories and thinking about, wow, there really should have been more youth jobs. Because I was thinking about the young people of that time, my peers, that they didn't make it. Okay, some of them are passed on, imprisoned, or completely gentrified out of the neighborhood because they didn't get to be in this somewhat of a miracle here, a community-led miracle. So I'm holding some heavier feelings, and at the same time, I'm also feeling hopeful as well.
Oh yeah, thank you. Oh, my name is Yusuf. So I'm actually from this neighborhood. So I remember when that was happening. I was in high school, and I remember this construction and everything. So seeing like the inside of just what was going on in the community with DSNI and Salvation Army, just it made me appreciate it a little more because you're young, you're like, wow, so many constructions going on over here. So like, but it's cool, and I actually go to the Salvation Army for to go to the gym. So yeah, it's amazing to see actually. Thank you for this.
I can remember very clearly the meetings with the youth in the old DSNI headquarters, and you can see that Bruce Shatswell, and I can remember that clearly when that happened. I'd kind of like to issue a challenge or a question. Here we are in like 2010, we're in a difficult situation as a country, but we have a land trust, we have these buildings have been done, we've had things get to a certain point. Now, how do we get this back and get more people involved again? How do we get this back to where people really feel like this is a valuable community to be in? And it's hard because I know I have good friends that are working on the land trust and stuff. It's a very difficult issue. So I just raise that as a major focus, The job thing, by the way, the job numbers were amazing. And John Fish, who's the head of Suffolk, which is one of the biggest construction companies in the country, has followed through on that. And it made a change in the industry. But when I talked to John Barris about this, the hardest part of this was, you never really got a written agreement. You never worked out these issues before they came up. And I think he learned a lot from that. I know I did. John, by the way, that mural they showed on the side of the store out here, he's a bongo player, the drummer, age 8. I think they repainted it when they ran for mayor. But anyway, but how do you get people engaged now? I mean, it's really tough. I mean, you've got 200 odd households. You've got a lot of stuff going on here. And how does it become now You know, what is a new age? You know, I know it can be done because I saw the kids do it. And I saw Dudley Street do it in the last 20 years I've been around this. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, so today I was leading a tour with Fort Worth Land Trust. They were from the South. And Jason Webb, who was in the movie, also in the first movie, he was 14. He was the one who said, I've dedicated half of my life. So he was he's running the land trust there, and they came to do a tour. It was my first time meeting him, and I was like, oh, this was really cool to see like the generation, because this movie was like him maybe 12 years older than that. And so it's just to see like the involvement of or dedication to land trust and really protecting the land from people is really inspiring. And then from the last movie last week, I was thinking that Lou, one of our facilitators, was talking about her current relationship with the Kroc Center. She teaches there, but she was also a membership, but she was saying that it's really expensive for her still. And so just seeing like the ongoing issues and struggles when we build partnerships and relationships in the community, especially with giant partnerships. There are a lot of push and pull and struggles with legal help as well. So I want to note that.
I just want to add as well. Before I became a board member, I was a participant and I had a child and I was taking my son out of the neighborhood for places, you know, things to do and play dates and programs and stuff. And I met a woman that was involved with DSNI and she's like, why are you doing that? You know, we have all these things here. And she brought me into DSNI and gave me a calendar and I became like one of their most participated parents that brought my son to a lot of the programs. And also I didn't know about the process of putting them in like Boston Public School, like how that process went. And they also provided that type of help as well to the process, like going into the schools and talking to the teachers and you it's like a lottery and I didn't even know that. I thought I was gonna put my son in a school where I wanted to put him in, things like that. So they did educate me on that. And then on top of that, my job. I work at First Teacher in Roxbury. They came out of um, the grassroots of getting the information on how to build a storefront, and that's how my job came about. So, seeing this and being a part of it, I feel like if maybe we show this more to our community, maybe that can be another way of seeing how things started, can get us that get our youth and other people to participate.
Do we have any questions or I know we had some questions in person. Do we have any responses or questions online? Folks want to share? Oh, okay, online folks.
Things I hope everyone's building that work should do that. But before we end, I did talk about being on the board. I know everyone has come from different parts of the community. We meet like the second Wednesday of every month. If you would like to be a participant or join the board, we have a nomination coming up. Like we have a nomination coming up in June, and we would love you to come out and probably be a part of it. So just know that that's here. And also, if you can save the date, I know we all have phones and we have calendars in it. On May 16th, the World Community Land Trust Day, short film, art and food again, celebration for the civil rights era in Georgia to our local movement is gonna be on that day at the First Church in Roxbury in Putnam, on Putnam Street. So if you have that day available, please come out and join us again for that as well. Gio.
Yes, and I see Mary's putting some stuff online. Matthew asked in the chat, what are the eligibility requirements to be on the board?
You know?
A lot.
No follow-up or?
Have to live in the area that you don't area. I don't. That is how that works.
There's a catchment area of the triangle. Not triangle, sorry. Dudley Village campus, which is North Dorchester and Roxbury. If you have a specific address, I can pinpoint you and be like, that's so looking for youth seats, and then also nonprofits and places of worship as well has a seat on the board.
Before we close out, I am curious. Bruce, you had a really great question. And I'm wondering if, okay.
I've read meetings you talked.
I feel like you had a really great question, Bruce, and I was just wondering if anybody had responses to that, because I think that's something Gio and I think a lot about as community engagement managers. Like, how do we engage folks? How do we bring people into spaces? Do I see you have your hand up? So, okay, yes. So please let us. Yes.
All right, so as a youth organizer for the last 10 years, I think the solution really is to hire more and train more organizers. And we don't have enough of organizing, and the turnover rate for a job for organizing, because people, when I growing up, people did it for the community. They didn't care if they were paid or not because they had to organize. That was the only way to improve their neighborhood. So they organized, they went to work, organized in the evening. Now there's a kind of like an industry or a field where you get paid to be organizer, and it's not enough money. And so there's not enough organizers and not enough training and resources to engage the community in a way that is in the strength and spirit of the community. And so I think that's one of the struggles that I've witnessed personally as an organizer, and just feeling overwhelmed with needing so much help and then also doing a job as well. So like watching this movie like hit a huge nerve for me. I was like, wow, this is like, is really possible. Where are we messing up where this is not happening? But in the movie, the way, the approach, the youth leadership, youth development, it was just like so beautiful to watch and be inspired by.
I would just add generally, people like things where there's music, where there's food, and where there's something getting done, and social activities. And I think there's a huge opportunity here intergenerationally, not just with kids, with the people that live here, to basically have that gathering all the time. I mean, if you've gone to the multicultural festival, if you've seen that, if you've seen these things, the land trust thing, this happens to be at the urban ministry over in Roxbury, which is doing some really good work. This was the first land trust. I think there are, I'll have to ask Sharon, but I think there's 7 now in Boston. And people come here to see how it was done. So they'd probably come here to see how you do it again. I really think those things, make it social, make it a center. And by the way, it wouldn't hurt to put the Kroc Center on the line a little bit to host a bunch of those things and provide space for it. Like a soccer league, I could see that too, for instance, in the soccer field. But use the resources, but food, music, purpose, and actually getting something done are the key elements.
Okay. And thank you, Bruce. And I wanted to raise up a fellow organization that we may know, the DS4SI, and they've activated some of the outdoor facilities at the Croc Center already. For I know I went to one of the dance courts. There was free juice, free light foods, not plates, but free light foods, and it was after sunset, which seems taboo. I'm speaking as a lifelong Dorchester resident. It feels taboo to say, hey, let's go meet up at a park in Dorchester or Roxbury. I'm speaking from firsthand experience from these neighborhoods. It's like people kind of look at you crazy or they think you're trying to get into something. And it's none of that. We're actually going to go dance and we're going to go dance and have some snacks. And it's going to be 9 o'clock and everything's going to be cool because we're all collectively placing ourselves here and displacing all those stereotypes that do have, roots in, in other historical factors. Nothing just happens in a vacuum. So I just wanted to shout out the dance courts as well as some of those public kitchen activations I've seen from DS4SI.
Okay, it was handed to me. I think the one thing I feel like I'm gonna add is I think COVID definitely too has had an impact on how we organize. I think that a lot of the organizing has switched to kind of digital marketing and communications. And I remember there's some folks who've come to meetings who've said like the kind of way that I like to get my information is like in person, like knock on my door, call me. And I think it's just like those tactics that you're referring to, like the trainings, like we're not. I think COVID has hindered us a lot in that regard. And also like, how do we go back to that? How do we go back to our organizing origins and our stories? I'm gonna pass this back to y'all.
Also, we have a public theater that
Enjoy my theater game. You have to announce it. No, but I work at a design studio for social intervention, the one that Gio was mentioning, and they just approved my design team to form public theater. So
cool.
I'm just happy to connect.
Anything else anyone would like to add?
Thank you. My name's Tristan. One thing that stuck with me from the movie was how DSNI inserted themselves. They had the expectation that they had a seat at the table, even if that wasn't held by Salvation Army, and that will turned it into a reality. And so I just want to amplify everyone and empowering each other to feel a sense of ownership and accountability to everything in our environment, whether or not, we got a name on a lease or dollars or skills, like everything affects everybody. So we all should have a seat at the table. And if we're not there, let's put ourselves there.
Okay. Thank you for coming. We would like to have more of these moments. Please feel free to look at other events that are happening that we are having and feel free to join us and get to know one another here while you're here, see what other organizations are here, and maybe we all can network. Okay? Thank you. Thank you.
So much.
And then make sure you sign the guest book before you go. Before y'all leave, we have a very important announcement we want to make. Can we call DSNI folks up to the front, please?
I'll get my phone.
Uh, this, I didn't expect this, but
Original energy.
but DSNI has been part of the UGBA for a while, and I work with UGBA is a Ujima Good Business Alliance. For people that don't know, I work with Ujima, and I'm the business alliance associate at Ujima. So I work closely with the businesses and everything. So it's good to see you guys in person. I know we've been to the storefront, which is over there. But I don't think I've ever met you all. So it's a good seeing you all. And we created stickers every year. So we have these stickers that we want to give you all to put in the building for people to see that you're part of the UGBA Good Business Alliance. A little background. So to get nominated, to be a part of the UGBA, you have to be nominated by the community, people in the community that says this is a business that we love, in our community. So it's a big deal. It's not a little thing. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I want to give you all this sticker.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm feel honored. I'm gonna take a picture of her getting it.
Thank you.
It's a big deal. And do you have any other stickers?
Yeah, I do have more. Yeah.
Let's talk about what they look like. So if you're ever in a business and you see, oh, you can't really see what they look
You
like.
have to open it up, but
It'll say Ujima, good business, and that's how you know business is certified. So.
Can you tell a little bit about some of the Ujima's nonprofits?
Yes. Sure. I will, it's okay, we can do that, but I'm gonna close this Zoom out, so if you wanna hold that.
Before that, for anybody that is accessible to the Boston area, we are doing our next set of Ujima Wednesday workshops at the Frugal Bookstore for each of the Wednesdays in May. So that is either a healthy walking distance or a short bus commute that way. Okay? That will be in Nubian Square at Frugal Bookstore, same time as tonight, 6 o'clock and onward. Of course, if you're like some of our peers here, you came early because you wanted hot pizza or just hot food. And we will continue to source food from the Ujima Good Business Alliance, which tonight was a local pizza place and Nos Casa Cafe. So shout out to them as well. And please keep in mind that next Wednesday is with Mattapan Food and Fitness. Robin Kelly is going to be talking about the Wilson Street Community Farm for our Ujima Wednesday workshop. So please, let's all show them the same love. Let's try to double the amount of people in here or online, if online is your best option. And this weekend, we do have some volunteer opportunities as well. There is a farm cleanup at the Wilson Street Farm in the afternoon, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And then the whole day, if it doesn't get rained out, we're hoping that the rain will pause or move around, what have you, but it's Wake Up the Earth in Jamaica Plain. A lot of grassroots organizations will be there. I feel some snaps and some people know what that is. Ujima will have a table, as well as the Dorchester Food Co-op will also have a table there. And who's going to be there? First Teacher will also have a table. We heard about that earlier tonight. And before I depart, is that all for Ujima in the next week?
Oh, Caroline Hussein, if you're interested in banker ladies and solidarity economies, and want to learn more about that, on Monday, Caroline Hussein, who is our fellow, our economics fellow, our Black feminist economies. Thank you for, I love a man that knows how to correct me. We'll be speaking. So if y'all are around, please come through.
Also at Frugal Bookstore. Also there.